Namaskar. I want to talk about the importance of taking decisions in life. Every decision is the knot from which our life takes a different direction, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. So decision is an extremely important thing. So when some good idea comes in our mind, we have to act upon it. Otherwise that idea will slowly dissolve and disappear. And when something bad comes to our mind, it's better to delay. There are two forces acting on our consciousness. One force is called Vidya Maya, force of knowledge. Force of knowledge, you know, the light side of the force. And then there is a dark side of the force of ignorance. So this force of knowledge has two aspects. The first way how it manifests in us is through opening. Suddenly you feel an idea and suddenly you feel inspiration. Like everything was dark and you could not see the way. You didn't see the way, you didn't understand. Everything seems so hopeless and helpless. But now just an idea comes and wakes you up. Yes, this is the way. I will do this and I'm going to succeed. So this feeling, this opening is called sambit, awakening. The vibration, you feel like vibrated. Many times I feel in meditation this. Sometimes I sit and just, I get my mind high and then suddenly opening comes in the mind. Then I just see, okay, this is what I should do. And then the criteria, the feeling which accompanies this awakening is joy. You feel like, yes, yes. And then you need to take a decision. If you delay at this moment, if you delay and wait, if you're not taking the decision, it will disappear, it will dissipate. So you need to take decision. Decision is important. Many times people say, I will try. This saying actually is very bad. You should not say, I will try, I will attempt. Attempt is okay, no, not trying. I will try. No, this is not good. I will do is good. Because this I will try, this particular sentence is for a weak person. It's not good for us. We should eliminate this I will try from our dictionary. Never say, even don't think like this, even don't say like this, because the saying, the very saying of it makes you a weak person. It is working on subconscious mind. It is very harmful. Should not say, I will try. No, I will not try. I will do. I will do. This is good. Yes or no. Yes, yes, no, no. I will try, not good. Okay? So this is very important. And then I'm remembering how I started to do meditation. When I started to do meditation, I was really entangled in so much of darkness. Means environment and habits and just the way of thinking, and it was kind of gloomy existence. And then I started to meditate, but then different habits and different the way of the inertia of the past of my past experience was so strong. So sometimes I would meditate, sometimes I would stop meditating, then again I start, then again I stop. And then one day I was sitting and I was thinking, meditation is so good for me. I have experienced it as the most beneficial utilization of time. Nothing else affects my life in such a positive way as meditation does. So why I am stopping, why I am quitting this part of meditation? I must meditate. I must meditate regularly. And then something happened to me. I felt like, yes, now I'm ready to say yes. This yes is very, very good word. Yes is very important word. Yes. So I decided to say yes. And then I gave myself a promise. I'm going to do twice a day till the end of my life. That was very strong. At that moment I felt very high, actually. I felt like, yes, really, I felt like I have opened the biggest door of my life. Yes, yes. But then I thought that now how I'm going to keep this word, because this is quite a strong promise. Until the end of my life, I'm going to do meditation twice a day. Then I understood, and actually my acharya, my teacher of meditation, he taught me this. He said, you know, your mind is not sufficiently strong to fulfill any promise. Even though you sincerely believe that you are going to fulfill, still the strength is not enough. Microcosmic strength is not enough. So he said to me, you should pray, you should request the Supreme Entity, you should request Supreme Consciousness every day of your life. Help me to fulfill my promise. Help me to fulfill my promise. So that idea also somehow, he told me, and before that I got this idea that I must get some divine help. I must get, you know, I really want to do this good thing, but myself I may or may not do, but with the help, with the assistance of the divine, surely I will do. So that is also very important. There are three categories of people, like the weakest, little stronger, and the strongest. Successful, unsuccessful, the most successful. The weakest category of people is that people who never give any promise. They don't say yes. They prefer just to flow with the flow. Means if the opportunity comes, they respond to that opportunity. If it doesn't come, it's a kind of opportunistic flow of life. It is very difficult to live a human life, a divine life, if you are following this opportunistic style. Searching for comfort is not going to make you great. So, it is the weakest category. When you are never giving any commitment, you know, the word meet, the root word meet, commit, omit, submit, admit. Meet means to do something worthy. So commitment, you commit to something. So when you never commit, that is the weakest state of the mind. When you commit, but when faced with opposition, with difficulties, you surrender, you give up. That is the second category. At least you commit, at least you try. Okay, you try, you fall, then again stand up, again go, fall, again stand up, again go. And then the third, the strongest people, they commit and they never give up. Never ever give up. That's the most. Those people are destined to be successful. It's called Vishwas, special power of the mind, the strong faith, the strong decision, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to succeed. So it is important to be, somehow to enter into that highest category of the person. You decide something, think 7 times, think 10 times, but once you said yes to yourself, then stick to that promise, commit to that promise. Don't make the promise too high, too big that you cannot fulfill, because the failure is also affecting us. Make that type of promise that it's doable, and then stick to it. And then try whatever your best, pray to God, or request the divine assistance, and exercise the full willpower, and stick with your commitment. Stick with your commitment. That is the path to greatness. I know a friend of mine, he was just meditating, and then he suddenly started to feel this. It's like an opening in the mind. It's like the divine commandment that I should do every day 3 hours of singing mantra. And then he was like, no way, I'm working, I'm getting tired, how can I do this kind of things? But I think this was very important for his soul to do that. So, and then that day he went to his job, and then there was some problem, some economic problems, and they said that, sorry, we have no job, so everybody is going to go on the holidays. It's not up to you, you cannot work because there is no job. You take 1 month off. So now he's like, okay, there is no anymore logic why I should not do. And then he started to do every day 3 hours of singing kirtan non-stop from, in one span of time, 3 hours. And he said, Dada, sometime I was coming home 11 o'clock in the night and still the promise is there. And then I would do from 11 to 2 o'clock in the night. And then he done. And I met him, I didn't see him for 1 year, but when I saw him, I saw that man has grown spiritually so much. He advanced so much, his understanding is so deeper. And as a person, he has grown very, very much. So this is the power of commitment. There was, and this advice, this particular advice about if something good comes to your mind, you should do immediately. Because if you start doing, first is the force of vidya, sambit shakti. You awaken, okay, now I should do. Then you commit, and then you do. And as you do, there is a flow. You enter into the flow, and that flow carries you, helps you to fulfill what you do. Because if you are standing, if you are not doing, no force is helping you. But when you are moving on the way, the force is helping you. The people, the ideas, the inspirations, everything comes. And opposition also comes. But also the help comes. So you be in the flow. You decide and do. Something good, decide immediately and go with that. And something bad, then you tell yourself, okay, this bad thing I am definitely going to do, but after 1 week, but after 2 weeks. Oh, let's wait another 1 month and then I will do. Don't say that I will not do, because sometimes you don't have enough strength to reject. If you have the strength, then reject immediately. But if you don't have that strength to reject the temptation or something like that, then say, okay, after 1 week, okay, after 1 month. And then maybe after 1 month you don't feel it anymore to do that. So that's the secret of life. And you know where it comes from? There is this Indian epic literature which is called Ramayana. And Rama was a god, like God incarnate, a divine warrior, a king, and a perfect embodiment of a human being. And then there was the Ravana. Ravana was also, it was his antagonist. And he was also a great person. He was a yogi, actually. So he meditated, he got a superpower, and then he has become a demonic entity because he made one mistake. So that Ravana was also a great soul. But that Ravana, he stole the wife of Rama. He changed his guise, he became like a wandering monk, and the wife believed him and wanted to give him some food, and using that chance he stole Sita, the wife of Rama. So Rama had no way but to wage the war against that Ravana, to vanquish him and then return the Sita back to his fold. And then he had to kill actually this Ravana. So when he won and Ravana was defeated, he sent his brother Lakshman. He said, Lakshman, go to Ravana, he's a great soul, and get one advice from him, some wisdom. He has something to share. So Lakshman went to Ravana and asked him, Ravana, please advise something good, some wisdom, impart some wisdom to me. You are a great soul. Then Ravana said, Shubhaya Sigrama, Shubhaya Kalaharanam. If something good comes to your mind, do it immediately. I wanted to build a golden bridge from earth to heaven, so people could ascend to the heaven. But I didn't do. I delayed, and I didn't do. But when the thought came in my mind, this very nasty thought, that I should steal the Sita, the wife of Rama, if I would just give myself a little thought, if I would hesitate a little bit, maybe one day, or 2 days, or 3 days, then that thought would disappear. If I would consider all the consequences, what would happen out of that, then I would change my mind. But I didn't hesitate. I acted immediately. So you see, this is the cause of my downfall. And here am I. Here we are. So that was very, very important advice. It is important to take the decisions. Important to take decision. Decision determines the trajectory of your life. Sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. When you are taking decision, when the opening is created, when inspiration is created in your mind, decide at that moment. And then start moving towards that goal. And then pray to Almighty to give you power to fulfill your destiny. And if something bad comes to your mind, don't act immediately. Say that, okay, I will do it after 1 year or after 3 months. And then slowly it will just pass. It will pass. And meditate. Meditate. When you meditate, you are creating that opening in your mind. Many times in meditation, I just see the path, what to do, how to do, and it helps me so much. Thank you. Namaskar.